Hi, so today I'm going to talk about grief and how I wanted to cope with it. Personally, I have been through that and I really want to talk about it today. So grief and loss is like when you lose something or someone that has, passed away or just no longer in your life, and you had a really deep bond and affection with that someone. So I understand how it's going to be really, really hard for someone to, just move on or get over it, because grief is just something you don't want to lose that someone, but it just happened. So today I'm going to talk about it. Personally, I went through it, so I'm going to just the process and how in the end I can just be like, this is how I went to cope with it. So yeah, so I want to just say that there are 5 stages of grief. So one is denial. So this is like when you cannot accept something or the fact that someone and that something is gone, and you just cannot accept the facts. So basically it's like a psychological thinking process that, oh no, he or she's not gone, she's still with me. When that person, that something has to go, it has to go to a better place. It's really hard for someone, and it's really, really, I cannot imagine the pain to see someone get buried and take their last breath. It's one of the worst thing I can actually ever experience. Also, I have been through it. So yeah, so this is normal. It's just the first part of the process. It's just denial. And second is anger. Anger is like when it comes with denial because you cannot accept it, and you just be like, this is not right. I don't know how to feel. I want to feel angry. Like, why must I go through this? Why must she or he be gone? I cannot accept it. And because we have no control over it, we wanted to do something about it, which goes back to the next process, which is called bargaining. So we want to feel the anger because of it, and we want to have a control or power of like, okay, so what can I do now, or what can I have done that time? And the grieving person will think of ways to kind of like go about in their lives and be like, okay, what am I supposed to think about now? Because I want to stop it from happening then, and it's just measures and precautions and everything. But because they are too deeply involved in grief and their loss, and it's just very hard on them, and they will pray to God that like, I don't want it to happen again, I don't want it to happen now, I don't want it to happen before, I just want to move on with my life. And they want things to go back to the way it was before, especially when you lost that someone you love or that something that you love. And it's really, really, really hard for that person. And this is where guilt and remorse is present. So sometimes with grief, there got to be another one that will happen. Besides grief, we have depression, which is the most common thing that we often will feel. So it's feeling blue or sad for 2 weeks, and it will come with a lot of negative symptoms like persistent sadness that won't go away, especially after 2 weeks. Your appetite will decrease or they will increase too much, and you will think negatively and rumination, and you will feel difficulty falling asleep or sleeping too much, and you will feel agitated and restless. So the next thing I want to emphasize is that you will feel tired and have a lack of energy, and you have excessive guilt and worthlessness, and you have difficulty concentrating on something or having trouble thinking, or you're considering suicide. Now I know suicide is really important to talk about because it's really something that cannot just be brushed away like that. People's lives is important, so I'm going to list to you a helpline that will be written below in Singapore. And also I've been raising awareness about this because in my about and also in my discussion in my YouTube channel, I have already listed a lot of helplines, and those will be beneficial to those who are having mental distress. And all you have to do is just call them, and I hope that they will be beneficial to you. And suicide is one of the worst things that can happen to anyone, and to see someone go is really sad. So please do not try to do it, and talk to someone, reach out to someone, and you're never alone. I can be there, but I'll just hold your hand because I might not personally know you, but if I know you, then I'll definitely sit down and talk to you and talk you out of it. So right now, number 5 is acceptance. So this is finally the fact that the last part of the stage of grief and loss. So this one, it looks at a new reality and that you will never be the same. Things have changed and it will affect the way you see your life now and your relationships. So sometimes in this, it could be bad, as in like relationships, you can either get too attached or you get too detached about it because of what was happening and how you had to lose someone. You didn't want to lose someone. It's very devastating and despairing. So I just want to know that it's just one of the most painful thing, and I can understand that, but acceptance is one of the things that can, help you accept that this is how I'm going to move forward in my life now. And okay, number 6 is, okay, I don't think it's part of the process anymore, but sorry. But number 6, I think I actually want to emphasize this, is that it does not mean that you ignore the laws. It does not mean that you completely, forget the person. Actually, acceptance is just that when you are remembering the person, but you cannot just go back into the denial phase and be like, okay, did it happen or not? Because it was already, it was already like that. But because when you're in denial, you just think too much, and you think too in a way that it's just not real. It's not in reality. Sometimes you think that, oh, did it happen, did it not? Sometimes you feel like, okay, you're just stuck in between, did it happen or did it not? But you cannot go back to the denial phase once you start to accept. And when you are remembering the person, you have to have a grip of yourself and be like, no, I'm not going back to the denial phase. But the good thing is that acceptance is just to welcoming the present and to have a good or a bad future, depending how you see it. I don't think you'd have a bad future. It's just that how you're going to manage yourself in the way you want to see bad. Because I know this grief and loss will impact you in a way that will change maybe the way you think and view of life and even your personality. But the good part is that when you come and welcome welcome the present, then it's one of the things that can actually, let you see how you're going to move in life and let life flow and not actually move on. So with this, if you really love someone, if you really want to think about someone again, never slip back, but just know and look at how you really admired and treasured someone, and that you can always see that, okay, well, I really admire that someone for this quality, this trait. Just cherish the good times, so it will soften your heart now and influence your future. Like if you really adore the person so much, just like in the future, just like, I want to hold on to the good in a person, I want to live by it and not by something that really be opposite. Because sometimes when we lose something, we just feel like, I don't know who am I anymore. So it's like it will influence your future in a way that you would definitely want to come and like be peace with your future and be like, that's how I'm going to see my life. And I don't have to be hard, I don't have to be cold, I just need to embrace my life and my present and see how it's going to all work out. Everything will be okay. So now this person embraces responsibilities. The grieving person now accepts and handles responsibilities well and works hard for the future. So this grieving person will definitely, it takes time to cure and heal from this. So this grieving person also continues to make more trustful and meaningful relationships with friends and friendships. So I just want to know that, if you are really missing that someone, you really have to be strong and not go back to a place where you really want the person to be back, because it's really hard. But do not slip back to denial phase, because that person is in a better place, and that's just way better than suffering here. If the person was suffering, truth is everybody is suffering. We just need to be more considerate and kind of it. And just remember that if you miss that person, it does not mean you cannot never commemorate that person's passing, we can always, on that special loved one, like their birthday or the anniversary marks, you can go and say that, I'm going to, celebrate on behalf of her or him, and that it's always in your heart, and always remember that person on the correct, appropriate anniversary or days, and not just something that can be totally just, be not remembered at all. People are people, they have value and meaning, and they will always be remembered by someone or something. And that loved one is always in your heart, so you really need to always remember that, and to know that you are always going to be loved in the future. You're always going to be loved now, especially if you cannot run from the past, or you cannot go and escape from the past. You're going to be loved by the correct person, by the correct people, and it's not the end. You can always start a new page or a chapter and flow with life and move. If you don't like the way you were back then it's always the reason why people can be positively changing. It's okay, but to be negatively changing and hurting someone or bleeding someone, it's not something that's to be proud of. But we just need to be mindful about how we're going to say, how we're going to act, because it means a lot to someone. And don't worry, because like I said, everybody will be loved, but I want people to be more aware. So I hope that people take a message out of it, and everybody will always want to be there for each other. And love is something that is completely depends on how you see it. But I just want to know that, I want to know that love is everywhere. It's just that don't let it be distorted by someone who's mean or something that's mean. It's just always everywhere. You need to feel it. You need to feel it in yourself first, and you feel it in someone else. And yeah, just because someone no longer with you, it doesn't mean they cannot be in your heart, and that doesn't mean you can completely devalue them, because every person has meaning. But I just want people to know that they're always in your heart, and they will never ever just be gone just like that. I mean, I've really to a better place, but in your soul, in your mind, you will somehow think about it. But this one is just the remembrance and presence of someone. So it's a different thing about having to literally grieve and go through the process, and just remember that person will always be with you, and they will remember you, and you will remember them. But you also have to be accepting that yes, they need to go to a better place, and hopefully in the end you can also be with that person again, because we only have one life and you need to do it good, in my opinion. So yeah, I just want people to know that, and I want people to stay strong if they're going through this, and that it's okay. You can take the time to grieve, you can take everything, but never lose yourself in grief. Never lose yourself ever. Please do not do that. And I hope people can understand and get a message from me. And please never lose hope, and always love yourself, love everybody. That's right. So yeah, so stay strong.